Well, consider the following statement regarding the direct firing sights navigation system. Statement first देख लेते हैं. The system is designed and to enhance accuracy in line of sights weapons engagement. It can operate even in GPS design conditions. The sight is particularly effectiveness against the low flying drones and vehicles and fast moving threats. How many of the correct statement are correct? And all three is correct. Consider the following statement. Article 341 mandates that the President, after the consultations and with the state government, and may notify the caste, tribes, and races demands to the scheduled castes in relation to other state. Any alterations to the President list is only done by the parliamentary law alone, and state does not have any other compared to change the list. Absolute statement first is correct, second is wrong. Question number 14. Which of the following wetlands of India's and were recently added to the list of the wetlands of international importance? The Ramsar list. Gogaville's Lake, Longwood Solar Reserve Forest, Silisir Lake, and Karaiveti Wildlife Sanctuary. Select the correct answer using the code given below. First, second, third. First, D. All are correct. Which of the following statement best describes the terms and biotics potentials? The maximum productive capacity of the population under the ideal environment condition. It is the maximum amount of fertilizers that can be the used and without increasing the pH of the soils. The maximum population size and that environment can sustain indefinitely. The maximum rare of the nutrient recycling in other stable ecosystem. इसमें से 20 correct. गेसिंग है ये हमारा, कुछ कह नहीं सकते. द कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट अबाउट द एक्रेडियल सोशल health activities. Asha act as the first point of the content of the community and with the primary health care systems. In urban or rural areas, it is mandatory that Asha should be the literate. Asha is authorized to perform the manners operation in case of emergency. Asha works are also involved in constructions of household toilets. Select the correct answer using the code given below. Fourth is not correct. First and second. Illiterate. First and third is correct. First and third is correct. So B is correct. Explanations देख लेते हैं. 12 से 16 तक का. C. The direct firing sight navigation system is a combo technology packed and that allowed the artillery and units to engage the targets directly and autonomous. The system integrated the CM3 direct firing sights and which utilized and advanced opticals and thermal technologies to the significantly enhance accuracy during line of sight direct fire engagement. And the statement first is correct. It incorporated the Sigma 30 and interior navigation systems unlike the standards GPS. This and the inertial systems and calculated positions using the motors and sensors, allowing it to operate autonomously in GPS denies or heavily jammed electronic welfare's environment. Hence, statement second is correct. The system integrated to Critical components Sigma 30 and navigation systems and CM3M are direct firing sights. The Sigma 30N is the advanced inertial navigation system used for the autonomous artillery and positionings and targetings. The high precision and sighting and real-time thermal optics make the system particularly lethal against the modern and battlefield threat, including low flyings and drones and fast moving the vehicles and other visible target. Hence, statement third is correct. 13 का C है. Recently, the Supreme Court has clarified that any the includes or exclusion of any case, race or tribe of or part of or the group within the cases, races and tribes has to be other by law made by the parliament and not be and not by any other the mode or the matters. And clause 1 of the articles 341 mandated that the president, after the consultations and with the state governors, may be published notification specify the caste, race and tribes or other part of the group and within the caste, races or the tribes, and which shall for the purpose of this the constitution be deemed and to be the scheduled caste in relations to other state or the union territories. Clause second added that any other amendment or the alterations or variations to the president list under the article 341 has to be the made by other parliamentary laws alone and not by any notifications. The Supreme Court concludes and that the state government had no competent authorities and powers to linkers and with the list of the scheduled caste and published under the articles 341 of the constitution. Hence option C is correct answer. क्वेश्चन नंबर 14 का ए है. इंडिया एडेड एंड द गोगावेल लेक इन बिहार, सिलीसेरास लाइक इन द राजस्थान एंड कोपरा इन रिजर्वोर्स इन छत्तीसगढ़ टू द लिस्ट ऑफ द वेटलैंड्स ऑफ इंटरनेशनल इम्पोर्टेंस द रामसर लिस्ट एंड द इंडिया नाउ हैज़ 96 वेटलैंड्स अंडर द रामसर कन्वेंशंस. सिलीसेरा लेक इट इज़ इन द सेमी एड एंड जोन एंड फेल इन द बफर राइट्स buffer regions of the Seriska Tiger Reserve. It is a the human-made wetlands created in 1845 AD by the Maharaja Vijay Singh by creating a bank across the tributaries of the rivers and rupars. Biodiversity Egyptians, vultures and black the stork and tiger, Indians and pangolins, leopard and sambar. Hence point third is correct. Copra legacy. Copra and the Jalase located in the Bilaspur districts. Bilaspur districts in Bilaspur districts and this is the reservoirs. Bilaspur district where this reservoir is significant for having coefficient for having significant and for having the nutrient enriched backwaters and servicing is and the first and the recognized and have high wetlands in Chhattisgarh. It is other reserve. It is other reservoirs location in and the upper and catchment of the rivers Mahanadi. It is the existence open the water areas and features slows and nutrient rich and backwaters. And Goga Bay Lake. It is an the Oxbow wetlands and situated in the Katihar district Bihar. Goga Bay is formed from the flow of the river and the Mahanandas and the Kapa. Kankar in the north and the Ganga in the south and the east. It is the first and the community reserves of Bihar. It is other habited and for other wide variety of birds and some of which are even in the migratory birds. Hand point first is correct. Longwood Solar Reserve Forest, Tamil Nadu, added in 2023-2024. The site is a part of the high altitude green evergreen forest is the Nilgiri crucial and for water security and unique biodiversity. Hand point second is not correct. Karaveti World Sanctuaries, Tamil Nadu, added in 2023 and 24. It is the one of the largest inland freshwater lakes in Tamil Nadu and is a crucial stopovers and on the Central Asia and flyway. Hence, point 4 is correct. 15 का biotic potential is and the maximum and the theoreticals and are it and which other population increase under the ideas environmental condition unlimited resources no predators and no diseases. It is and the represent the highest position birth rate and lowest mortality rate and four other species. Key factors include the frequently of reproduction numbers of offsprings uprising and maturity age. Full expressions of the biotic potential of an the organism is and the restricted by the environmental resistance any the factor and that the inhabitant the increase in and the numbers of the population and thus the factor includes and unfavorable climates condition lack of space light or other suitables and substance and deficiencies of necessaries and climate chemicals compounds or minerals and the inhibiting effect of predators and parasites in a decreased diseases organism or unfavorable genetic changes. Hence, option A is the correct answer. One of the key components of the national's rural health missions is to. She is correct. National Rural Health Mission is to provide every village in and the country and with other trained females community health activity ASA or accredited health social health activities selected from the village itself and accountable to it and the asha will be the trained to work as the interfere between and the community and the public health systems. She should be the literate women and with due the preference in selections to those who are qualified up to the 10th standard whereas they are the interested and available and in good and the numbers and they may be the relax and may only if and no and the suitable person and with this and the qualification is available. The asha will receive the Vasha will receive perform best and the incentives and for the promotions and universal promotion and universal immune reference and escort services for and the reproductive and child health RCH and other he programs and the constructions of household toilets. So statement second and fourth is correct. Next question. Consider the following statement according to the Constitution and the speakers nominates from among the members of other panel of not more than chairman. A members of the panels of chairman can presides over the house and when the office of the speaker or the deputy speakers is vacant. When other member of the panel of chairperson is also not the present, any the other the person is determined by the president act as the speakers. How many of the statement are correct? First, only two statement is correct. B. ओनली टू स्टेटमेंट करेक्ट इस बी। हम लास्ट में चेक करते हैं कैसा क्या रहेगा इसका। बी। Consider the following statement. The Aravalli Hills are among the oldest folded mountain in the world. The Western Ghat are the part of the Deccan Traps and formed due to the volcanic activities. The Meghalaya Plateau and the extensions of the peninsular plateaus. First and second. First and second is correct. B is correct. Question number 19. Consider the following condition: clear and the cloudless long winters. Night dry air nears the earth's surface. Strong surface wind. Strong connective activity during the night times. How many of the conditions and feathers formation of the temperature in the earth's surface? Only three. C. Recently, the Canadian Prime Minister Mark and Carney proposed other doctrine formulas and called the Carney and doctrine. The doctrine calls on four other foreign and policy frameworks and urging middle powers and to the unit against the coercion action by the great power. United in the president effort to the president the beach of the climate threshold. The exit of the Canada from the North America and free trade agreement, the non and the interventions of the West in the affairs of West Asia. C is correct. Consider the following statement regarding the laser light communications. Laser light communication transmits data using highly focused and beams of light waves. Laser operation at much and the lower frequency than the radio waves. It can be used in satellite to satellites and deep and the space communication systems. First and third चीज का एक्सप्लेनेशन देख लेते हैं। तो ऐसे 21 तक का D is correct. Panel of the chairperson of Lok Sabha. Under the rules of the Lok Sabha, not the constitution, the speakers nominated and from among the members of other panels of not more than the chairperson. Hence, the statement first is not correct. Any of them can end the presides and over the house in the absence of the speakers of the deputy speakers and she has the same power as the speakers and when so the proceeding it must be the emphasis and hairs and that are the members of the LPE and panels of the chairperson cannot presides and over the house and when the office of the speakers of the deputy speakers is vacant during such times and the speaker's duties are to be in the performed by the such members of the house as the president and may appoint for the purpose and the election are held as soon as possible to fill the vacant post. Hence statement second is not correct. The members have the same powers and as the speakers and when so the president and she hold office until other new panels of the chairperson is nominated and when the members of the panels of the chairperson is also not and the present any other the person as the determined by the house act and as the speakers and third is not correct. 18 का डी 18 कड़ी दोनों ही wrong हैं. The Aravalli Range is one of the oldest and the geological features in the world and dating the lake to the Precambrians and eras, and they were the originally fold mountains and formed by the foldings and of the earth crust and much like the Himalayas are today. And however, due to the millions of the years of weatherings and the erosion, they are now classified as the released and or the residual mountains. Hence, statement first is correct. The northern western Ghat especially and the Sahyadris in Maharashtra are indeed part of the Deccan Traps, and during the Mesogeous eras and massive the volcanics in eruptions and covered this the regions in thick layers of the basaltic lava. Geologically, the Western Ghats are not true and mountains and formed by the faulting. They are the faulted edge and the escarpment of the peninsular plateau, and that remained after the western portions and subsided into the Arabian Sea. Hence, statement second is correct. The Meghalaya's plateau and comprising the Garo, Khasi and Jaintia hills is geologically the part of the peninsular shield during the Himalayas and the Orogeny. A massive force and caused other portion of the peninsular blocks to shrink. They created other downwards and gap now known as the Malda Gap or and the Garo Rajmahal gaps, and which and separated the Meghalaya's plateaus and from the main Chota Nagpur plateau. Over time, this gap was filled in by the sediments of the Ganga's Brahmaputra river and forming the Bengal's deltas, and but the underlying ceiling and basement rock of the Meghalayas and remains the peninsulars in origin. Hence, statement third is correct. And 19 का भी ये भी wrong है. सी लगा दिया मैंने. Temperature inversions is other meteorological and phenomenon where the temperature increased with and the latitude with the altitude and reserving the normal slabs and rate for this to occur near the earth's surface. Specific condition must and facilitate rapid cooling of the ground and the prevent the fixing of air layers. Clears and cloudless long nights during winter. Nights and nights are longer than the days, and thus this ensures and that the period of outgoings and terrestrial radiation is significantly longer than the period of incoming solar radiation, allowing the surface to lose more that clear skies. Cloud act like the greenhouse blanket that the trap and radiates and terrestrial radiation back to the surface. Clears cloudless skies allows and that to the escapes and unhindered and into the space, leading to the rapid and surface cooling. Hence, statement first is correct. Dry air nears the earth and surface. Water vapor is a potent greenhouse gas that the observe and infrared and radiation heat. Dry airs has other low heat and capacity and allow the outgoing and terrestrial radiation to pass and through more and the easily, and this facilitate the repeat cooling of the ground, and which then chills the layers of the air and immediately and above it strong surface wind. Temperature inversions and required calm and the stable airs. Strong wind and causes the mechanicals and turbulences and vertical mixings. This mixings and the forces the chilled airs and aid the surface to swap and places with the warmers and airs above effectively and preventing other districts cold layers and from the forming as at the bottoms. And statement third is not correct. Stroke convective activities during the night time. Convection is the process where the warm airs the rise and cooling air shrinks. Strong convections activities and implied and that air is moving vertically and for and the inversions to occur an atmosphere must be the stable, meaning the lazy cold in air need to remain and trapped at the bottoms, and convections activity and would break this and the stability and mixed the layers. And statement fourth is correct. 20 का a recent contact. The Kearney Doctrine was proposed by the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and during other speech is the World Economic Forum in Davos and Switzerland on July 20, 2026 and Carney Doctrine introduced by the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney in early 2026 is other foreign policy frameworks and urging middle powers to units against cursive actions by the great power it is and the advocated for the economic and diversifications reduce the reliance on and the similar superpowers and strengthening an international rules and based system through the collective actions rather than the possessive accommodations and this statement first is correct. Mars Joseph Henry is a Canadian politician and economist and who has served as the 24th Prime Minister of Canada since 2025. C. इसका सी only first is correct. Laser light communication free space optics is the wireless high and the band with technologies that transmits data using an infrared laser beams and acting as a faster more secure actively and to FR system it enables for example 10 to 100 times and higher data rates for the space to ground communications and laser light is inherently and coherent meanings the light waves and are in the phase and both and the spatially and the temporally. This allows and for the creation of highly focused and narrow and beams and that can and the transmit data over the long distance and with the minimal divergence. Hence statement first is correct because lasers operate at such much higher frequency and terahertz range than radio waves and kilohertz and to the gigahertz ranges and they can carry and significantly higher and band with enabling and the transfer of the much more and data per second. This technology is actively and used and the developed and for the satellite to satellites inner and satellites link and the deep space missions and for example NASA DESCOX and deep space optical communication has successfully demonstrated and laser communication from the millions of kilometers and away hence statement third is correct.